welcome, and thank you for joining me on this discussion on new beginnings. I have a cup of tea ready here for myself. I hope you have something to drink. It's called bush tea from South Africa. Before we start, I would like to take a moment and ask you to just go quiet by yourself and think and say thank you to yourself for being here. I'm sure that you have a lot of other things to do. Your days are busy. You have assignments and projects and kids and appointments, but you took time to press play on this video today. So think a little about that you're actually taking time to focus on yourself and your inner well-being. So thank yourself for that. Take a few deep breaths and out. And when you breathe out, just let go of all the worries and the world outside there, because right now this is time for you to just be and start something new. It's a new year, new beginning. We are on a new journey. So I'm going to tell you a little secret before. You might probably know this already, but before we start talking about new beginnings, and it is that you are already healed. Inside, your soul is already healed. You're already in balance. Everything is perfect as it should be. You have everything you need inside of yourself. The only thing is that maybe it's covered with layers of things. Like things happen and it's different layers that get added to it, and it just gets added to it more and more, and that healed part of us gets covered up. So the more we start taking off those layers, the more we will find our true soul, our healed, balanced soul. So you might think this is a little bit, I'm not so sure about this. I have a lot of things going on with me, but I think, and I hear what you're saying. So I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to talk about this little acorn, a tiny little acorn, and this acorn falls down from a tree, right? Falls on the ground. Eventually he goes underneath the ground, sits there for however long he sits. I have a train coming by from time to time, so just excuse the noise. And he goes underneath, and sun shines outside, it rains, and eventually everything is right for him. And he starts sprouting and he starts growing slowly through the earth, and he pushes up through the earth. He becomes this little tiny little green thing, goes all the way up, and eventually, after years and years, he's this big, beautiful tree, this massive tree. And there are two things to this story. The first thing is this little acorn. No one told him that he's going to become from this little acorn to this massive tree. No one told him that. He just knew it. It was just in his DNA, in his matrix. And it's the same with us. Nobody really has to tell us how to be whole, how to be balanced, because we already are inside. We know that. We just need to remember it. We just tend to forget sometimes, right? And the other part of the story is, it didn't happen for this little acorn overnight. It didn't just take him a few months or even a couple of years to become this big old oak tree where everybody sits underneath. And find shelter. No, it took him a long time to get to the big tree. And it's the same with us. It's not going to take us a weekend retreat or, you know, a few days, few weeks. It's going to take us a while. That acorn was really brave. He was brave. It took bravery. It took courage and commitment and time for him to grow, for him to come up out of the earth. I mean, first of all, he had to be sure not to be eaten by a squirrel, right? I mean, that's like a no tree. And then once he started growing, everything had to be right for him, right? He had to work really hard to push up up through the earth. He had to not being eaten by deer. I mean, there's a little bit of luck in this story, but there's also a lot of hard work. And we also need to put in a little bit of effort for us to rediscover ourselves, to find out, you know, who we are again, to rebalance our lives. And you know, we can take maybe 15 minutes a day to just do something. We don't always have to do hours and hours a day. Some days we might have a little bit more than 15 minutes. Some days we only have 5 minutes. But if we do a little bit every day, we will remove these layers that have been added to us, and we will start to discover who we really are. Now, know that during this whole journey of a year that we are going to look at things like caring for ourselves and developing gratitude and releasing fear, letting go of anger, all those kind of things. It's going to be, we're going to have some days where we're just going to fall and we're not going to succeed. And it's important that we realize that from the start, and that it's not a bad thing when that happens. Don't beat yourself up. You know, just get back up and keep going. Because, you know, once you've fallen, you've gotten up, you're a little bit taller and stronger. You're like, yeah, I did this, I can do this again. So just keep going. That's all I can say is keep going. And it's just amazing for us to start this year with this journey. And new beginnings is such a beautiful way to start the year, I believe. And we can have a think about how we start things, right? If we just look at how we start this year, we all have our own little rituals. Some of us would have gone to a big party on the 31st and count down the seconds and have champagne and dancing and Happy New Year, you know. And others of us are more reserved, and we'll decide maybe we will just stay at home, drink a cup of tea, light a candle, and just be peaceful in the new year. And others their ritual might be like, well, I don't really care. It's just another day, right? So we all have a way of starting the new year. And I think for me, it's important to acknowledge that one year has passed and another year begins, because it helps us to let go and release some stuff that we don't want anymore, that drags us down and keeps us back, holds us back. It helps us to move forward a little bit when we realize, okay, this is a new page, a clean slate. I can create a whole new year, right? So, and sometimes a lot of us also use New Year's resolutions, and we decide, well, this year is going to be a great year. And I think sometimes we tend to have these great ideals with New Year's resolutions. We make them out to be these like, wow, big ideals, like I'm going to stop smoking, or I'm going to lose 20 pounds, or, you know, those kind of things. And you don't really have a plan for it. You just you just say it. I'm going to do it. And I think that there's no strategy behind it. So I think sometimes what happens is you get to November and you like, oh my gosh, it's November and I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything for this resolution I had in January. And then we feel bad about ourselves and we feel negative and we feel like we have failed somehow, right? But when you look at your resolutions, I think it's maybe better to think a little bit more when you set them up. So and this is for anything that you start, for any project that you start, is think a little bit about what are your abilities, what are your strengths. Be kind to yourself and do them as intentions. Set yourself an intention that matches your strength rather than something that's so far out there that you're just setting yourself up for failure even before you began. So that's one way of starting new things. When we also think of new beginnings, we think that they're quite magical, right? It's really special to start something new. I mean, think about it. When you move into a new home, or you've got a new job, or you fall in love with a new person, you get all this, like, it fills you with like excitement and anticipation, and you just like really ready for it. You might feel a little fear, but it's like, your happy hormones are just like off the charts. You're just really happy. And you find sometimes pretty soon that all these happiness starts to wear off a little bit. So the thing that made you fall madly in love with this person now irritates the hell out of you. And you like that job that you really wanted and your dream job. Now, when Monday morning comes around and you sit in that commute for an hour, it just drags you down. And you think, what am I doing? So that's one part of new that doesn't stay new for long. And in today's society, we often have this new thing of everything has to be new. It's like, I need the newest phone. I need this new phone. I need a new experience. Oh my gosh, I'm so bored. Can we just do something new, right? And there's nothing wrong with wanting to do new things per se. It's good because it means that you challenge yourself and you grow. But sometimes we so focus on the new things that we forget to enjoy ourselves where we are. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy this cup of tea that's sitting here in front of me, and just sip it easy and slowly, and this is wonderful. So we forget to enjoy the things we have now, and we get bored so quickly. So we lose that stamina. Like think a little bit about yourself. Like, how do you approach new things? Are you like, you start something and it's like 100% full steam ahead? Everything is focused on just that goal that I'm going to achieve now, and this is what I'm doing. And maybe after a few days, a few weeks, a few months, you start to lose a little bit of interest and you're not as motivated anymore. Another few weeks goes by and you feel, I'd rather do something else now. I'm not really into this kind of thing. You start to lose your focus. It's just, and then you drop it and you find something else and you start doing that. And so that's one way you can. Or you might be the other side, and you might be somebody that when you start doing something, come hell or high water, you are going to finish what you started. It doesn't matter. You are just going to finish it. So you might be on the other spectrum, and it doesn't matter if there's red lights flashing everywhere to show that this is not the right thing for you. But you just keep on going with it because you signed up for this deal and you are going to finish it. I think there's this balance that you need to find between either not finishing anything or pushing yourself so hard that you just, it's just not worth it for you. So, So, and we all do that, right? Like when we often in something that we've started, and we in this job or this relationship, and it's just not working out for us, and we know it's not working out for us, but we just keep going at it because it's safe. You know, we all want safety. We want to feel security, and we just stick it out. We're too afraid to start. We're too afraid to begin something new. So we're just not willing to go and jump, basically. So this month, what I've done is I've created some exercises that will help you to start things and to also see how you approach things. Like how do you start things yourself, in case you want to focus more on that. So one way you can start doing that is looking at your journal prompts that I've created for you. You can just download them and look at the activity sheet. Both of those are PDF files, and just do them. I try to keep them simple and easy so that you can just download them, fill them out. It's all about beginning this month. Just start with something this month, and keeping it simple so that you can get comfortable with how we're working. I also encourage you to try the guided visualization. And just give it a go. And if you're new to meditation or visualization, I kept this as well very simple and very the first one, it's very easy to do. It's a very positive, it's creating a positive mindset for you so that you can stay in a good space to keep on going. So give it a try. You can do it as many times as you like. And then there's one thing that I really think that would be good for you to do this month and start doing, and maybe continue doing it, and it's a ritual. I think if you can create your own ritual, it will really help you, and you keep going with the ritual. It'll help you to show you in yourself how you start something and how you keep going with it, and it will help you build up that stamina, if you want to call it that, to keep going with things and not stop with things. So create a little ritual for yourself. It can be anything. It can be, I think the simpler the ritual is, the better, because you will then more likely do it. A ritual that you could maybe try is every time you step into a new space, like if you walk through an entrance from the kitchen to the hallway in your home, or if you exit your front door, or if you walk into your office, or anywhere where you change into another space, just that moment when you step into the new room or the new space, take a little breath and just feel the change. Feel the shift, that you're in another room, you're in another space. And that will, apart from being a ritual and it brings you into yourself, it also helps you to be a little bit mindful of your movements, right? And we will look at that more in during the mindfulness months, when we build up practices and ways of practicing mindfulness. But that's a ritual that you can do. I have many rituals for myself, and I create them specifically for me because I begin things. I'm very good at starting things. I love starting things. But that middle thing of keep going with it and then until you finish it, sometimes I can struggle a little bit. So I have rituals that help me, that I do, that will help me to keep going with things. So for example, I do, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing that I do is I lie in bed and I make a mental list of everything that I'm grateful for. And I do that every day. And apart from my creating gratitude in my life and making me feel better about all the things that I'm blessed with in my life, it also helps me set up my day, and it also helps me to keep going with something, with an activity, just making a list. It's as simple as that. So if you feel like the walking through spaces is maybe a little bit too much focus for you, another way you can do is have a glass of water next to your bed at night, and when you wake up in the morning, before you almost even get out of bed, you drink that glass of water, you finish it. That ritual is also listed for you in the activity sheet, so you can try it out and see how that works for you. So the goal behind these exercises are mainly, like I say, to help you start something, to show you how easy it is to begin something, to have a new beginning. It doesn't matter how big or how small. A new beginning is a new beginning. New beginnings happen when we wake up in the morning. It's a new day. When that tick, tick, tick goes and a minute has passed and the next minute begins, that's a new beginning. Breathing in is a new beginning. Out is the end of that breath, right? So it's little things are new beginnings, but it's like we say, it can be big too. It can be a big wedding. It can be a new job. So moving countries, anything, all new beginnings. And so the point with these exercises are for you to help you to just start something and to continue and to get to know yourself and to see when maybe something doesn't feel like it's working so well, or when do you lose your interest. For women, we have different cycles and different phases of the month. And maybe sometimes in the month we feel more inspired to start something, and other times we feel more like we more want to be restful and at peace. So that brings me to another thing, is that don't force yourself. Don't make yourself do it if it just doesn't feel right for you, right? It's like all these exercises are here to assist and help you, but they're not here as a you better do this kind of a thing, right? Because we all have bad days. All of us have bad days, and we all have days when we don't feel like doing it. When we have those days, maybe it's a good idea to ask yourself, why am I feeling like this today? Am I just lazy? And that happens. Or is it that there's something bugging me and I need to get that out of the way first before I can do this? So you ask yourself those questions and you'll get to know yourself. So yeah, this is our journey, and we are starting it now. And let's not worry about doing it right. Let's just make the commitment that we're going to do the best that we can for this year, that this is going to be a beautiful year for us, and we're going to do the best that we can for this year. And I want to just thank you for coming with me on this walk, for walking with me this year, and that if you feel comfortable, please leave a message or a comment underneath the video if you feel comfortable doing that, introducing yourself, because I'm really looking forward to meeting all of you this year and growing with you. So may you have a very inspiring month, and may you be filled with confidence this month. And I really look forward to catching up with you in the next video next month, and different posts throughout this month. Thank you for watching.